Hello, welcome to Library Connection. I'm Mandi Cantrell with the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank TV47, Chris, and everyone for helping us put on our program, and especially thank our sponsor, First Bank of Alabama, for their sponsorship for this program. Thank you very much. All right, today we're talking about something that everybody needs and probably we know very little about. Tracie Rainwater is joining me from Wright-Sprayberry Insurance, and we're going to talk all things insurance, what it is, why we need it, and what we need. So thank you, Tracie, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Good, good. Well, you've been my insurance agent for a long time,
Yes.
and our kids were in school together,
Yes.
so I know Tracie, but tell us about yourself just a little bit.
Well, I am a personal lines account manager at Wright-Sprayberry Insurance. I've been there for 31 years.
Wow.
Yes. We are a division of Petra RMS.
Okay.
And we're local right here, 106 North Broadway in Sylacauga, right across the street.
Yes, right across the street. Well, gosh, 31 years. You know a lot about insurance.
Still learning too, believe it or not. You learn every day. You know, it's an exciting business to be in, and just when you think you know everything, you don't.
Well, and I'm sure it changes as everything changes.
It does.
Gosh.
Yeah, it does.
Well, we'll just start with what are the most important types of insurance everyone should consider getting?
Well, goodness, let's start with home.
That's a big question.
It's a big question because you know you have your home, that is your biggest asset.
Yes.
You know, in most cases. So you know you definitely want to have homeowner insurance. Okay. What we are doing lately, you know, prices have gone up so much, and we hear all the time, my rate's gone up, what can I do? And one of the first options is look at your deductible.
Okay.
It could be that you're carrying a very low deductible, and if you increase that, that could be a lot of savings there. And a lot of people don't think that, and we tend to be complacent. We get our bill, we pay it,
Yes.
and we don't think to
We
call
like
our
to
agent.
not think about it.
Exactly,
Don't worry about
exactly.
it.
But you know, call your agent, ask questions. What can I do to reduce that premium? You know, can I take a higher deductible? And we do suggest that because you no longer want to file small claims against your home.
Okay.
So the higher deductible is a good idea. Also, you know, look at your policy, sit down with your agent and ask, are there any coverages that I don't have that I might need? So, you know, like I said, your home is your biggest asset, so you definitely want to do everything to protect that.
Yes, you do. Now, I know you mentioned that D word that nobody knows. What is the deductible?
So,
kind of explain what that is.
So the deductible works like this. You choose a deductible, and you know, back in the day, you know, you might have 500 or 1,000 deductible. But if you have a claim against your home, considering everything is covered, at the end of the day, you get paid less your deductible, whichever deductible you choose, be it 500, 1,000, 2,500, and in some cases 5,000. We do actually have people that take deductibles that high.
Okay.
So that basically is the amount you're responsible for at the end of the claim.
Right, and the insurance covers the rest of
Correct.
that because
So,
you've been paying your premiums
exactly.
all these
So
years.
when you get your check, you'll see it less whichever deductible you chose.
Okay, wow. And I know a lot of decisions go into 500 or 2,500.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
thinking about what you have and what your home. I don't even know. I don't know why I'm trying to talk about that. Why do you think so many people delay getting insurance or don't really know what they have?
Well, you know, again, we just get complacent. We get our bill in, like our power bill or anything else, and we pay it. I don't want to think about it, done.
Right.
But it is something you need to think about, especially with cost rising. You really do need to, as I said, sit down with your agent or call or email. In this day, we can just email, a text. You would be surprised at the customers I have that text me. So just open up a line of communication with your agent, go over it, see, you know, what kind of changes that you might need to make. It's all about communication.
Okay, that's true, that's true. And you guys are the experts, or you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge that we don't have, probably.
Well, and you know, you have to educate because, you know, most people are not familiar with insurance. You know, they just take it for granted that they have everything they need, and they may not.
Right, right. So call your agent.
Call your
Look
agent.
at your policy.
Absolutely.
Great. Why is it so important to have insurance on homes, land, property, things like that?
Well, again, your home is your biggest asset, and you definitely want to protect that. Also, liability coverage in case someone, comes up on your property and gets injured. And, lawsuits happen every day.
Yes.
So, you have to protect what you have invested in. So when you do, that's another question for your agent. Look at your policy and see what your liability limits are. And you'd be surprised how very little difference there is to increase the liability on your home, to protect you in case someone got injured on your property.
It's worth a little bit more to make sure you're covered.
And it's surprisingly not a lot to better protect yourself. Absolutely.
Wow. You don't really know that until something happens.
Exactly.
Oh, and then you're not covered.
That's right.
Wow.
We're not covered properly.
With extreme weather being more common today, I mean, when I was growing up, I never knew if there was a hurricane. But now we know in the wet because it affects our weather. What do we need to look at as far as home?
Well, a key thing there, and I actually thought about this as I rode down the road this morning, is flood.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, they think, well, flood's in my policy. It's not.
Oh.
So flood does require a separate policy, and that's also something you should sit down with your agent about and obtain a quote, because flood is basically rising water, and it is excluded from the home policy. So you do need to have a separate policy to cover you for flood.
Okay. And I will say, I know this is not anything I said I was going to talk about, but a lot of people buy insurance online. Just not a bad thing, but I like dealing with somebody who lives here.
Yes,
who's familiar with my city, my state, and know what's going on.
And it has become so easy to go online and get anything. But again, I have to say, you get what you pay for.
Right. You have to really know what you're doing.
That all comes back to the agent and the relationship. And that's so very important. And we're still old school. We have our storefront, we have our customers in and out constantly, and we love it that way. And it's important that you establish a relationship with your agent so that you can sit down and discuss, because everyone's needs are different. And you need to make your agent aware of anything you have. For instance, like say, if you've added onto your home, you might need to increase your coverage.
Right.
If you have gotten a piece of jewelry for a birthday or anniversary or whatever, you need to get those appraised and add those to your home policy. So lots of things to think about.
Right.
And it comes back to talking to your agent and, just discussing what you may not have that you need.
Right. Or you may have, I guess everything changes. Children grow up and leave, and you don't have to cover them anymore.
Right.
Things like that.
And when you do have those children, you need to make sure you're getting credits for good student and driver training.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's very important. It's a good discount, so that's something that you need to do. Because that's a tough time. We've all been there, and those rates are really high, so those discounts really help. So make sure that you're getting those.
That's true. Great. Well, listen, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Tracie.
Remember your first car? The butterflies you had on your first date? Or your first home? Remember his first steps? Or his first day of school? Remember the thrill of opening your first business? For every milestone, every memory, every first, think First Bank of Alabama.
It's Kyle's last spin on his turntable from college.
Yeah.
And the first day of Kira's new career in IT. It's the last tea party for Crystal with Miss Marshmallow.
Oh, wow.
And Sarah's first day of management training at Goodwill. When you donate items to Goodwill, you help provide skills training and career placement for people seeking to realize their potential. And the things you love get to start a new life too.
Bonanza, that's the name of that old cowboy TV show that me and my pops watch every morning on that local station, TV 47. We love watching all those Cartwrights. Hoss and Little Joe are my favorites. I also love all those horsies. I'll go get my chocolate milk, and my pops will fetch his coffee, and we'll go sit down together and watch Bonanza. Won't you join us? I just love Bonanza so much.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Tracie Rainwater, and she is with Wright-Sprayberry Insurance and been there 31 years. That is awesome. I think that's wonderful. It's wonderful. We've talked a lot about insurance for your home. What about car insurance or any other kind of vehicles?
Yes, well, of course, now within the state of Alabama, there's a mandatory liability law. So you have to carry liability on a vehicle. And sadly, a lot of people will go and take an auto policy and just take the very least they can get by with.
Right.
The lowest liability limits right now in the state is 25, 50, 25. We see that so often when we quote against another carrier.
Really? Yeah.
So again, here we come back to educating the customer.
Yes.
Look at your policy. It is so important to look at your liability limits because now, if you've priced a new vehicle lately, it's astronomical.
Yes.
And medical bills are astronomical. Hospital stays, ambulance transport, all of those things are so astronomical. And if you hit another vehicle or if you cause bodily injury and your liability limits are minimum, you can go through those quickly, and then you know what that means.
Sure, yes.
So
the rest is out of your pocket.
exactly. So it's so important. And it's only a few dollars to increase those liability limits because, again, you're coming back to protecting yourself, to protecting your assets. And for the cost, it's so worth it, So definitely talk to your agent, increase those limits, protect yourself, take care of those other folks.
Gosh, yes.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said everybody has to have insurance in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, you do.
You're supposed to have.
You do. As a matter of fact, when you go to get your tag, you're not supposed to be able to get a tag without proof of liability insurance.
Right. Now you mentioned 25, 50, 25.
Yes.
What is
those are the state minimum limits. That is the very least that you can get by with. And a lot of people do it for that very reason.
Okay.
Without thinking of the consequences. Because, again, if you are involved in a catastrophic accident, that's nothing. And then you're on the hook for the difference.
Right.
So touching on that, another really important coverage to sit above your auto and home insurance is a personal umbrella. Oh. Those are relatively inexpensive, and those protect you in case of a catastrophic accident or if you get sued from an accident on your property where someone is injured.
Okay.
And it's just an extra layer of liability. And those typically run a couple of $100 a year for $1 million coverage. And you think, $1 million, I'm not even worth $1 million. But you when you consider everything that you have, your home, your vehicles, all of your personal assets, you would be really surprised how much you've accumulated. And you want to protect that. You worked hard for that.
Yes.
So
I don't want to lose it.
No, you do not. And it can happen easily. And again, I have to say, if no one else gets anything else out of this, please, look at your liability limits.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have adequate coverage to protect yourself for the things that you've worked hard to attain and to take care of those other people in case you are in an accident where it's your fault. You want to do that. You want to be, responsible.
Yes.
Or
yes,
financially
you do.
responsible,
Yes,
as it's
we
put.
do.
If you cause damage or if you cause injury.
Right.
So, like I said, just do the right thing.
Right.
Increase those limits, take care of yourself and everyone else.
Yes,
And
'cause
let's
it not
just all
only-
do the right thing.
Yes,
just
boy,
do the
that would
right
solve
thing.
a lot of things,
Yes,
wouldn't
it would. Yes, it would.
And it not only affects you, it affects your family,
Absolutely.
your
Yeah.
entire family.
Yeah, and a lot of people think, well, again, I'm not worth $1 million. But if you are in a court of law and you are found responsible, you could be paying for the rest of your life. In the event of a catastrophic accident, and you think, well, that's not going to happen to me. You never know. You never know what's going to happen to you. I've even had people say, oh, my house is not going to burn. You never know.
Never know, right.
So insurance is basically, it's protection. And I know that it can be a dirty word sometimes, but when we need it, it's the best thing to have.
It is. It is.
Absolutely.
Well, on cars, what do rising the cost to get your car
Gosh.
repaired?
Yeah,
Everything
and
is
a big question that I have almost daily is, my car's older, why does my rate not go down? Well, the car may be older, however, the cost to repair,
Yes.
the availability of parts, and the cost of those parts, those never drop. So that's why you will not see your vehicle insurance go down as it gets older.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, those things don't decrease. So
I think people just need to call you or call their agent when they have questions.
that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
That really is
same
the whole thing.
communication.
It's just taking a little time to make sure that you're properly protected. And it only takes a few minutes.
That's right. Now, I know we have cars. A lot of people have boats and other vehicles. There's insurance for everything
Absolutely.
like that.
And we do it all.
You do
We
it
do it
all, okay.
Yes, and now we're getting into watercraft season, so there's doing a lot of quotes on watercraft, ATVs, motorcycles, all of those things. So even if you have, say a boat and you're out on the water and you cause something to happen, again, you need to have that boat covered for at least liability to protect. It's all coming back to protecting yourself.
That's true. And we can say good drivers or good boat drivers never have wrecks, but
Right.
it happens. We all
It
make
certainly
mistakes.
does.
Gosh. Well, we'll start a little bit on health and life insurance. What's the right time to start thinking about life insurance?
Honestly, the best time to think about life insurance is when you're young, because you can get whole life policies when you're young that build cash value and are not very expensive.
Okay.
Don't wait until you're 75.
Yes.
And believe it or not, we have people that do that. We absolutely have people that have never carried life insurance in their life, and they come in at a later age. And at that point, even though it might be obtainable, it's so astronomically expensive. So when you were young, get life insurance then, take it on your children, get those whole life policies that build cash value. You can even pull from that for college education or whatever you need to do.
Oh, wow.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely, the younger you are, the cheaper it's going to be.
Right. And we need that, don't we?
Everyone needs that. Absolutely.
Gosh, wow. How much life insurance does a typical family actually need? Well, you said
Yeah, well, that's going to vary from family to family, because you have to take into account so many things. That your income, you have to think, what if I passed away and I left my family?
right.
There's a mortgage, there's vehicles, there's
Yes.
college education. So you just have to sit down and think, if I were not here, what would it take for my family to survive? And what would it take to, keep the home, educate our children, and so
Right.
on. So that's something you have to sit down and kind of figure for yourself.
Right.
But, definitely do it as young as possible. And I know when you're young, and I know a lot of people don't have a lot of money when they're young. We've all been there as well. But believe it or not, life insurance at a young age can be very affordable. And it is one of the best things you will ever do for yourself and your family.
When you're young, we think we'll live forever, and hopefully we will.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's great. Wow.
But again, don't wait until you're 60, 70 to try and get a life policy, because it's really going to cost you, if you can even obtain it at that time, because it does come back to health as well.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
so-
Get it while you're still healthy.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Absolutely. That's the time.
Wow. Well, listen, we're going to pause for another commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Tracie.
Remember your first car? The butterflies you had on your first date? Or your first home? Remember his first steps? Or his first day of school? Remember the thrill of opening your first business? For every milestone, every memory, every first, think First Bank of Alabama.
The all-new Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga is your destination for the highest quality health care. Our remodeled and expanded pharmacy gives us the space to serve more patients. We've added a drive-through window for those times when you don't feel like getting out of your vehicle. And we still offer delivery within city limits. We feature a full line of over-the-counter medications and supplements. And don't forget our stunning new gift department. New building, same great people. Marble City Pharmacy, here for life.
Bonanza. That's the name of that old cowboy TV show that me and my pops watch every morning on that local station, TV 47. We love watching all those Cartwrights. Hoss and Little Joe are my favorites. I also love all those horsies. I'll go get my chocolate milk, and my pops will fetch his coffee, and we'll go sit down together and watch Bonanza. Won't you join us? I just love Bonanza so much.
Welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Tracie Rainwater from Wright-Sprayberry Insurance. I have learned a lot just talking with you, and you're my insurance agent, and I know Al usually handles all that. I appreciate him doing all that. But what are some things that we need specifically in our area?
I would have to say one of the biggest things is probably sinkhole because of the quarry.
Oh, that's
Yes,
true.
yes.
That's true. There is sinkhole insurance.
Absolutely.
Ah.
So, if you are on that side of 280, as we put it, where the
Yes.
quarry is located,
Yes.
definitely, if you do not have sinkhole, call your agent and see if that is available.
Right.
Some companies do not offer it,
Okay.
but it is definitely something that you need if you live in that area.
Okay. Gosh, yes.
And we even write it on this side of 280 as well, but mainly near the quarry, that is definitely something you need to have.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, not necessarily sinkholes, but anything. If something happens and I don't have coverage, it's all out of pocket
right.
for me.
Right.
Right. Or I could lose my home.
Absolutely.
Could lose everything. That's a scary
It is
thought.
very scary.
It's very
Yes.
scary.
So that makes it so important for you to just, sit down and make sure that you've got everything that you need.
Wow.
If the worst case, happens.
Okay. What if I rent?
If you rent, renters' policies are probably one of the most inexpensive policies you can get.
Okay.
A lot of people think because they rent they don't need anything, but a lot of the apartment complexes do insist that you have a policy that has liability.
Okay.
Yeah. But honestly, depending on your circumstances, 30, 40,000 a year. The amount of premium, 30 to 40,000.
yeah.
Maybe a couple hundred a year in most cases.
Wow,
So,
wow.
we don't ever really stop to think how much we have accumulated as far as clothing and furniture and that type of thing. And just imagine, what if you lost everything and you had to start over? So
Yes.
that is definitely something anyone who rents should obtain.
Yes, because fire, you've got clothes, you've got furniture, you've got everything you own,
Right.
cars.
Yes.
Everything. Wow. Okay.
And it
that's
can
a
be
lot to
very
think about.
costly when you go to replace all those things. So.
Yes, I'm sure it could. And it seems pretty easy to deal with insurance. I mean, like you said, email. All that.
Yeah, it's a whole new
Email,
world.
call.
There was, and I worked back in the day when you had to physically go in or call back in the typewriter days and all of that.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
gosh.
So, but now we're also savvy with our devices. So you go online, text,
Yeah.
call, email. You really don't have an excuse for not being able to talk to your agent
Right.
for sure. So,
And if you are not savvy with technology,
Just
walk into
in.
the office. Yeah,
Walk
your
in.
office and any of them.
yes,
I'm sure there's
absolutely.
somebody there.
And we love our walk-in.
Yes.
We've built relationships with customers over the years because they walk in and they sit down and we visit and we learn about their families and we become friends as well.
That's true.
So
That's true.
we are still really old school when so many agencies are doing most everything online and over the phone. We still like our visits.
Well, I enjoy coming in. Thank you, y'all, for letting us put a sidewalk story poster in your window every
Anytime.
month. So I go in and see you and Lynn all
Yes.
the time. Well, what are some money-saving things we can do? Smart decisions. How can we save money?
Well, we are back to the deductible. That's
Yes.
just one of the biggest things. And another thing is that if you have updated your roof, yes. So roof updates give really good credits with most all companies. So if you have replaced your roof, let your agent know. Get some documentation together, take it to them, and they can get your credit for that. Yeah.
There are a lot of things we can do just to help our premium come down.
Absolutely,
I know.
yes.
And the premium is paid monthly, yearly, however you want to do that.
Yeah, most companies offer the monthly, semi-annually, quarterly,
Right.
whatever is convenient for you. In a lot of cases, you've got billing fees or what have you. You might lose your
Sure.
paid in full credit, but definitely you do not have to pay it in full. You can break it up however you need to.
Right,
But that's another option that anytime you can, a lot of companies offer credits for paying in full.
Okay, yes. And credits for, I know you mentioned a new roof.
New
For
roof.
cars, for students,
Yes.
driver's ed,
Yes.
things like that.
Yes.
So that's great. I need to look into all of that. Security devices for
Security
your home,
devices,
things
yes.
like that?
Fire and burglar. Yes.
Okay,
Those help.
Wow. That's great. What if I'm a small business here? Insurance for that?
Well, we also write commercial. I don't do commercial, but Wynn Kelly and Lynn Payton in our office do commercial, and they would be happy to talk to you about your small business.
Right. There's insurance for everything.
Yes, there is.
Now, I jumped back to that. How often should we renew our policies?
Well, most policies, homeowners, are annual, and that's the time to sit down and review. That's a good time. So when you get that renewal, that's the time to contact your agent, go and sit down. Most auto policies are 6 months, although we do have some companies that write it annually.
Right. Okay. What should we ask you before choosing a policy? Or maybe we should just ask you to tell me everything.
Well, we're an independent agency, so what we do is, we obtain all of your information, and then we search the company that best suits your needs at the best premium.
That's great. You do all the work.
We do the work.
That's great. That's great. What's the first step someone should take if they're unsure about their current coverage? And maybe we've already answered that. Go see your agent.
Absolutely.
Right. Go in and talk to them.
That's our mantra. Go see your agent. That's right. Yes.
Wow. And where can we get reliable information? All my questions I think we've just answered with go see your agent.
It is. It's all about, again, it's about relationship. It's, again, being informed and asking questions.
Right.
Just ask those questions.
I think a lot of us are embarrassed that I don't understand deductibles. I don't understand bundling. We didn't even talk about that.
Okay, yes, bundling, and you hear that all the time. In most cases, yes, it is a good idea to bundle because you do get discounts for multi-policy.
Right.
In some cases, it might not be, but we'll look at it every way.
Right, yeah. Well, so don't be embarrassed if you don't know, because most of us don't know about insurance. That's why we're glad you do. So just go in and talk to your agent and ask questions. I know you would help us any way we could.
Of course.
Because you have me, I know. Well, gosh, this has been a great interview. I've learned a lot, and I appreciate you doing it. And thank y'all. Y'all been in business in Sylacauga.
Yes.
A long time.
Yes.
I'm not sure how long.
Yeah, back in the days. I think the agency itself has been there over 100 years. There was Mr. Archer.
Right.
And, of course, Sam and Steve. And Lynn and I are still there, and we have Wynn Kelly, who is our senior producer, and we would just love to talk to you about any of your needs. So.
Well, thank you, Tracie,
You're
for
so
joining
welcome.
me
Thank
today.
you for having me,
I
Mandy.
appreciate it.
I'm happy to do it.
And thank you for joining us on Library Connect.